Hello and welcome to Perspectives. I have a very dear friend in the studio, as you just saw while the camera was panning. Very few people in this world, I was just telling him, you can talk to. When I say talk to, I mean detailed, in-depth conversation about nothing. It's very rare you find people who you can talk to about nothing at all. Probably the only person in Pakistan who is capable of such a conversation is Mr. Naeem Bukhari. God give him health and life. He and I have recorded, I would say, in 3 sittings, about 12 hours of shows, which are, I really don't know what we talk about. So when we were trying to figure out the topic for today's show, I had no idea. And we wanted to call it Life, but it didn't sound right, so we titled it whatever you've seen on the screen, Pakistani Living Out of Pakistan. Anwar Ali Khan, very dear friend of mine. I've known him, God knows, I don't know how many years.
I had hair.
You still have a little fringe there.
Little bit.
But a quick introduction. Anwar Ali Khan is somebody I met back in the, I think, mid-80s.
Yeah.
Mid-late 80s.
Right.
One of the most dynamic, dashing, hot guys I ever met. And he got lucky, married a beautiful woman, and moved out of Pakistan, to my ultimate sadness. But after what, 16, 17, 18 years you've been gone, we've continued to be great friends, alhamdulillah. And even though we hardly ever talk, email, but sort of we're in touch.
We're in touch.
Sort of. And now, thank God, to Twitter and Facebook, we are
more in touch.
More in touch.
Yeah.
So Anwar Ali Khan is an expert on cricket. You have an obsession with that. You were on our last show with Mr. Shashi Mujahid.
That was a pleasure. That was good fun.
So Anwar, you're visiting Karachi on your 3 times a month, 2-day trip. Let's start with cricket, your passion. Things we did cover that day, but
right.
And we've talked about this before. What has happened to Pakistan, not cricket, sports, what has happened to Pakistani sports? Why do we not have that impact in the world which we used to have today?
I think, I said that in the last show. Growing up, we needed our heroes. I had my heroes. I had my Imran Khan, and I had my Javed Miadar, I had my Zahir Abbas, and I had others that we looked up to. We had the Salimullah and the Kalimullah in the hockey. We had Jahangir Khan and others. So, you looked up to heroes. For whatever's happened globally, sport in our country has slowly diminished. Children are more towards PlayStation and other things rather than playing the game outside as they should be. So, once you don't have a hero to look up to, even if it's Misbah-ul Haq, which is a lot of people love to hate him, but if he or the team is not playing locally or domestically or in stadium in Karachi or Lahore against an international side, you'll find it difficult to motivate the sportsmen themselves to go and play and perform and provide the kind of motivation and entertainment that we need.
But squash never really happened on ground. Squash was always pretty much.
No. If you look at it, Maroom, what was his name? Air Marshal Noor Khan. He changed the game. He was the one who came up with the idea of televising squash, and he made that. What is that complex? Yeah, near your old house.
Yeah.
And they had under the line, they had a little glass which could televise.
Front cameras.
It changed the way the game was being promoted, and suddenly squash was all over. So it required certain amount of hero worship, certain amount of being proud for the teams to do well.
So the failure is coming from us.
Failure is coming from it is because of the circumstances. If you recall in the last show, at the end you asked, what are the 3 things, or what do you want to happen in this? And I said, look, drop 3 guys and we'll win the series. And guess what happened? We dropped those three players and we won the series. And I promise you, when we go to Dubai in October or in December, we'll win again. Because winning is a habit. And that helps.
It's addictive.
It is addictive. But I want to go back to your very interesting comment when you started that we can talk about nothing, which is true. One of the most popular shows in the world in global TV was a TV program called Jerry Seinfeld, or just Seinfeld. And it was a program about nothing.
They actually did a show
it's a program. It's about nothing. And it takes a special kind of people, and I think I would put you and me in that category, and not trying to blow my own trumpet, that we can waste time.
I think it takes certain kind of people. I think it also takes certain kind of combinations of people.
Of course it does, you know.
The chemistry,
You know, we grew up in Karachi, but we were poles apart. I mean, you're an engineer here. I'm not an engineer.
Need you remind.
Yeah, but here you are running. You know what? You have 300,000 Twitter guys following you. I have what, 200? But still, you know, when we get together, we enjoy each other's company. We talk the talk. We will talk about everything and nothing. But yeah, it does.
Do you think our generation today is lacking that?
No, it's you know, it's a very broad term to say that.
Generally speaking.
No, I don't think so. I have nieces and nephews and cousins. Nieces and nephews, they're very sharp kids. I think they are sharper than where I was when I was their age. They're much more aware. Whether they're aware because of the idiot box.
Aware may be the word. Sharper, I don't think so. I've never met a sharper cookie.
I'll give you an example. I work for a bank in Dubai, and I get a lot of people who come for a job interview, for a job. And I have two criteria. One criteria is that young man or woman has to be smarter than me when I was his or her age. If that person is not smarter than me in my judgment, I'm not taking it forward. Then there is a second criteria, which is, I don't know if we talked about it or not. We did. I asked a basic question, you know. Which is who's the President of America? And they say Barack Obama. And then I asked them who's the Prime Minister of Britain. And invariably they fail. So, you know, whether they're smart or not, debatable. But there are children who are very smart. You know, you look at scholars like, you know, some young kid did A-levels or had a world record. So there are there.
Okay, I'll repeat my question. I think you heard my question. I'm not saying they're not smarter.
Okay.
They are smart. They've got the world.
Sure.
Do they have the gift of talking about nothing, the gab?
No.
That was my question.
No, they don't. I think we are too regimented. I think there's a lot of pressure.
The chillness is gone.
No, it's gone.
The carefreeness is gone.
It's gone. It's gone.
I think we're taking life too seriously.
Yeah, well, it is true. We are taking life too seriously. There are other challenges which has come forth.
What challenges are there?
In life, people
like
look
what?
at things. No, I'll give you an example. Last night I was watching a program with a dear friend of mine, and I made a comment to him. You know, in our times things were not like this. You know, it was much more simpler. We didn't have cell phones, or we didn't have communications like we do today. But before Maghrib, you had to be home. You know, that was it. Throughout the day, you could be doing anywhere. You could be renting.
There were cell phones in our times. You were the ones who were selling
them,
and you were modeling for them.
That was 1980s, late 80s. I'm talking about when we were teenagers, man. Yeah.
So I tell people that
I sold phones, and I made a lot of money, and I love that employment.
And it was your sweet face on the posters as well.
Of course, I would go like this. But let me rip you off. No.
Tell you a pity.
Never rip them off. But the best part on those days was that when you sold a cell phone, the CEO would meet you in the boardroom buying a cell phone. Today, you send the guy on your bicycle, guy gets your cell phone, you know. But times have changed.
But 60,000 rupees back then.
90,000 rupees.
The pity, huh?
Yeah. And I made serious money. I furnished my house where I had just gotten married because of the commissions I made on my sales.
So we do not have the gift gab anymore.
Maybe not.
Why?
Hesitation, too much on your mind. I don't know, man. I have no answer to that. Why do you think is that? Why is it that they don't have the gift?
I think there's a lot of demotivation pulling people back, and they have lost their confidence completely. We were very confident people when we were young, when we were 16, when we were 18.
Oh, we were confident.
We were confident. You and I could get on a bus, go wherever.
Yeah.
We could walk on the street at night.
No issues.
We could take risks.
Yeah.
But today, A, the environment, B, I think the perception being created by press, by media, the global media, local media, the world, it's just that the fear factor is so high. Which is just a fear factor. I don't believe there's a real risk any higher than it'll be probably in parts
any
of
big city in the world.
Any big port city.
I drove from my friend's house to your studio now. I drove like I drove. I mean, it's just normal. But I'll tell you.
So I think just to conclude that it becomes so repressed in our own hearts and minds We have self-inflicted this closeness, and because we do not have that confidence, and lastly, we haven't made the effort to learn languages.
Very good.
Somebody I knew used to say that the fundamental tool of your communication is language, and if you don't have flawless control over the language, how will you communicate? How will you? And when we don't, we hesitant, then we just shut in.
That is correct. I would agree with that. But there are a lot more elements. When we were teenagers, when I was a teenager studying in Kent Public School, on a match day, when match day was when you played a cricket game after school and stayed back late, my mother would give me 2 rupees. 1.5 rupees was your after match lunch at the Irani hotel outside the school, where you would order naan and gravy, the salan and roti salan, and you finish that. But the aim then would be to, from Kent station to reach North Nazimabad in 50 paisas without spending the 50 paisa. So you would get onto the bus, pick up the ticket stub from the floor, put it in your mouth and pretend you're sleeping.
Con artist. I told you.
No, it's not con artist. But you could get away with it.
Con artist.
But you see, that I don't think my children can do, nor do I think I would want them to do. And if I tell them,
not that it's honest to do.
Yeah, no. But look, these are you were a kid. You were kids, and you did a lot of these things. But you also did other things too in life, and that helped you define who you are. But yes, there are lots of pressures. I see a batsman scoring 100, and straight away he goes to a sajda. Whether it's a sajda to thank God, yes, I'm sure it is to sajda to thank God, fine. But it's become like second habit that they have to do it. If they don't do it, the press may say something that this gentleman scored 100 and didn't do the sajda. In my mind, okay, that may be Islam, but the other day, I was telling you before the program that I was going to South Africa on the flight. And I asked the hostess, Emirates, that what time will be, I was fasting, what time will be iftar? And she said that the captain will announce it. Fine. A gentleman with a long beard just passed by in front of me and he went back to his seat. Fine. And a few minutes later, they announced that it's time to break your fast. And I was waiting for my food to be served because it was out of, not serving time, so she was preparing it or what have you. This gentleman comes from behind, gives me a glass of milk and a date. He says, brother, break your fast. For me, I was dumbfounded. I didn't know what to say. I was like, wow. And after I broke my fast, I went back to him, shook his hand, thanked him, gave him my business card. Guess what? When I go back to Dubai, he'll be my new customer. So, that for me is beautiful Islam. Not that sajda is not a beautiful Islam, but there is a beauty to Islam. And and I told this gentleman, I forget his name. I told him that, Islam has not been marketed well. It's not a religion of fear. It's a religion of love.
Absolutely.
And that, for me, it was brilliant. I enjoyed that.
It's a religion of spreading love.
Of course.
It's a religion of propagating.
Of course.
Good emotions, good feeling, good karma.
Of course.
All this karma and all these things. These are words which are really for us.
Yeah.
And you're right, we haven't marketed it well. Why? Okay, same thing which I said. Because we do not understand language, we do not have control over language, we can't communicate, we become shy. I'll bring it to Islam now. All right? You're a Khan. I know you have trouble with being a Khan. We'll talk about that in a second. Why have we not marketed it well? Because, in my opinion, and I want your opinion as well, is we don't understand it. And whatever we told, we believe.
Rectification, I don't know what the correct...
Not even that.
We don't understand it. I remember my mother was my teacher as far as I was concerned for Islam. She, even today, if I ask her a question on confusion on a religious question, I just call her and she gives me a very basic answer, which to me is perfect. What was I called her the other day. We were having a debate as what is the time for seher. And she said, beta, if you can differentiate between a white and a black dhaga or a string, that's the time to, stop eating. Makes sense, makes perfect sense, So, there is an understanding. We have to read to understand and read and talk to a scholar who
has... The lack of knowledge makes us defensive.
Of course it does. We don't know how to defend.
Well, no. I don't think there's anything to defend, let me tell you. We become defensive because we do not know. So anyone, whoever wants, can say anything about it.
And you're able to defend it, huh?
And so you become defensive and aggressive.
Right.
And then you become a showcase of, just stay away from me, and you're the bad guy for asking me a question. And thus, over the years, we've stopped communicating about religion.
But, going back to what you said about language, I have had this debate with my wife a lot of times, and she won.
No.
Yeah. But, if you look at global economy, which is the country that everybody wants to trade with? It's China, right? When you talk about languages in the elite school, we talk about English, Urdu, French. French, they won't even give you visas, man. Learn Chinese.
Oh, absolutely.
I have one friend, Wakar Azim, if he's watching the show, Wakar, you've done well, man. He disappeared after school, and I met him years later. Wakar, how's it going? Oh, I went to China. Why? Oh, I did masters in linguistics. He's one of the few fluently Chinese-speaking fellows in Pakistan, and he works for insurance companies. 6 months with this one, and then he goes to them, look, I increase my salary. No, we won't. He goes to the other one because there's huge Chinese contractors in Pakistan, and he can get the business. So that's one element of the language. But if you know the language, I speak Bengali, for example. It helps me tremendously. I travel to Dhaka for Bangladesh for work. Fantastic. It is a comfort level. It adds value to me. That adds value to my
it gives you
people.
confidence.
Absolutely.
We have unfortunately lost track of even our own language. In the effort to become more subservient to the Lords, which we haven't gotten out of yet, we have gotten so obsessed with English that we have forgotten how to speak Urdu. Even if you haven't forgotten, it's not fashionable. Oh, I can't speak Urdu. Like, if you can't speak your own language, you should be ashamed of yourself.
Yeah, well, there's nothing wrong in speaking English, but you must know your own language.
You must speak English. It's the world's language.
One regret that I have, probably the only regret I have, and which my mother, if she ever watches this program, she'll love it, the fact that I'm admitted to my regret, is that I never really read Urdu literature or Urdu poetry. And there are some shares.
Huge repository.
Oh, man. I call her up and say, Meezara, can you utter a share about love?
I need to paste it to a new girlfriend. Come on, you shouldn't be doing that.
She goes like this, and it is so beautiful. I understand it now, and she does the tashri for me. Okay, this means that. And you said, whoa, man, that's heavy, So that's
I fully believe that. So what I'm trying to come to, our lack of confidence in this generation is stemming from, I think, language. We can't express, so we get defensive. And we're not too sure about ourselves. You've lived in the US,
Dubai, England, Bangladesh,
Pakistan, of course. We are having an identity crisis. We're not too sure if we want to be Pakistanis. We've got dual nationalities. We're confused, and as such, we're not being able to hold ground of where we are. How have you coped?
I was at an office yesterday, and they were talking about the motivation levels within staff and what they think of working for their institution. I work for an institution in Dubai, and I am so proud of that institution.
Which is a Pakistani institution.
It's a Pakistani institution. And I'm so proud of being Pakistani. If you get invited to places, whether it's the ambassador's house or it's a lawyer's conference or a big investment conference or a sports event, they come up to you to talk to you because you're so proud to be who you are.
You stand tall.
You stand tall. And I absolutely love it. I mean, I've had opportunities to change or have a second passport. I didn't. There are issues with that too. I mean, I travel and I have issues with visas. We're talking about it.
We'll talk about it in a moment.
Yeah, so you have to, but deep down,
it's nothing you can't work around.
No, you can't. You can work around. Deep down, the flag on your chest is who you are, and that's who I am.
And you can't change it.
You can't change it, and I'm proud of it. And I think I am contributing to Pakistan sitting outside as much as somebody contributing to Pakistan sitting here.
Absolutely.
I send in monies. I send in my expertise. I'm just pointing to money as a little bit. Money is not the point. But I send in my expertise. I motivate people. I give them coaching. I give them guidelines. I tell them you can aspire to be who you want to be. You know, so there is lots of opportunity.
Let me ask you a controversial one.
Oh.
Not controversial. It's what people get upset about. Do you think you get more respect around the world when you take out your Pakistani passport than if you did another passport?
No. This is I don't want to curse, but that's BS. You know, if I take out my Pakistani passport, or if I take out, let's say if I had an American, it doesn't matter what passport it is the person who is.
No.
What is your question?
You missed my question.
Okay.
Do you get more respect because of the Pakistani passport than you would probably if you took out another passport and said, I have taken this nationality?
Okay. Before I answer this question, let me tell you.
Well, why don't you hold the thought? Let's take a short break.
Okay.
We're talking about nothing. We will continue to talk about nothing. Please stay with us. Thanks for staying with us, watching Perspectives. Very, very important show, must watch. We're talking about nothing. Anwar Ali Khan, a dear friend of mine.
But I was telling you something very interesting. Your question was the Pakistani passport giving you more respect
or
versus a XYZ passport.
If, as a Pakistani,
yes,
important
yes.
point. Huh?
This is years ago. Don't ask me which year, but years, decades ago. Flying from, obviously, decades ago, you broke, no money. Flying from US, want to reach Pakistan. You have to find the cheapest possible way. If there was a bus which flies, you take that. Anyways, California to Tokyo, Tokyo to Pakistan. But this was a funny flight which was known at that time, where all the Japanese tourists would get onto the flight and take the window seats and take snaps of the Nanga Parbat and all that. And it would refuel somewhere in China before landing to Islamabad. So mostly, I would say, Asian tourists and few of us. So flight lands, an announcement comes. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to PRC, blah, blah, blah. And Pakistani passengers, identify yourself. Oh, man, not again. So you're hesitant, you want to raise your hand or you don't want to raise your hand, and you look around, everybody is Asian and few of you are Pakistanis. Might as well raise your hand, Pakistani passengers. The next announcement, dear brothers and sisters of Pakistan, welcome to China. You may disembark from the plane. The rest of you, please sitting. So, yeah, baby. So yes, that is one way of doing it. But no, I don't think there is a respect or lack of respect with the color of your passport.
I get it. No. You missed my question. My question is, as a Pakistani, you get more respect for having a Pakistani passport as opposed to a different passport.
In some countries, yes. If you go to Turkey, perhaps yes. If you go to Sri Lanka, yes. Okay. I don't know about worldwide.
In my experience, globally, in every interaction, every immigration counter, every business interaction, I actually, alhamdulillah, may God keep it that way, get advantage for having a Pakistani passport.
Look, I travel a lot. I've never had any problems.
No, I get advantage.
I don't think I get advantage.
My advantage is my clients, my business partners, people I work with around the world, they all know that I have a Pakistani passport and they actually respect that. They take it as my credibility.
Yeah, well,
which is my personal experience.
Which is good, but I don't see any problems when I land into any immigration counter. But respect, I don't know. I know.
Problem is a different discussion. I may have trouble.
I don't think I get extra respect because I have a Pakistani passport.
I think I do. In my personal experience, I think I actually do. I have, at immigration counters, present my passport. You're standing tall. You're owning up to it. I've got my flag.
I'm not saying I don't own up to it. I'm there. There you are.
I'm not saying you don't. When you're shy about it,
if you're hesitant, it can be with any party.
thank you. But if you're not, and if you're presenting another one, there is a natural.
I'm not an American yet. I have an American passport.
Thank you. Now you got my point. So that actually brings advantage.
Okay. So we are who you are, yeah. Why do you have to worry about it?
You're better off owning up to that.
Absolutely.
Than to try to become something else.
I rather wait 18 months to get my US visa than to pretend.
This happened to you.
It happened to me. I've lived there. I've worked there.
Maybe
I traveled there.
Maybe they know who you are.
And I wanted to go see my mom, and the young lady says, yeah, your visa is approved, check on the web. And that was 18 months ago. It came in yesterday. Visa is approved, please come and, stamp the pass. Okay, fine, no problem.
But that's strange.
I have a beautiful last name, Khan.
And your wife and children live in the US?
No, they live in Toronto, they're studying, so I visit them. But no, once you land, once you have the visa and all that, it's not a problem. They've never had a... The reason
I'm lingering on this discussion is because it's very easy to run away from problems. And even easier to fix problems.
Sure.
But we don't take the easiest route. We take the quick route.
Well, my brother told me something very interesting today. I don't know, I haven't seen it myself, but my brother told me. But in Harvard, they've come up with a program called Jugaar. Do a Google check.
Did you find out?
Yeah, Jugaar. So, and because the Indians don't write R, it's with a D. So, that's, perhaps that's what, is it there? So,
God.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So you should be we should be proud of the fact that we put Jugaar in Harvard Business School. So Pakistan, well done. Hey, I'm happy.
I don't know what to say. There's a wiki page. And it's titled "A New Growth Formula for Corporate America."
Thank you very much. Made
Harvard
by Pakistan.
You'll use Jugaar to
innovate faster.
Use Jugaar to innovate faster, cheaper, better. Business and any entrepreneur, Harvard Jugaar.
So why can't IBA or LUMS or whosoever in Pakistan pick that up?
Yeah, because you see, okay, that's what I've been trying to say. We are not confident on our 2 feet.
That's my word. That's our word. That's my saving that 50 paisa Jugaar.
That does not count as Jugaar.
That's Jugaar.
That's a con.
No, it's not a con. 50 paisa, I didn't have money.
You're teaching people dishonesty.
No, I'm not teaching dishonesty. Go through it when you're on the flight. It's there, right? Jugaar.
It's called Jugaar Innovation.
Thank you very much. Shahid Ali Khan, well done, my brother. That's my brother.
I'm impressed. Okay, moving forward. You've lived away. How have Pakistanis, worked across the world, and how have they stayed connected to Pakistan?
Oh, the expat Pakistani is phenomenal. I think we have brightest minds in banking, innovation.
Banking, Jugaar.
Come on, you are horrible. No, banking is not Jugaar. Banking
I've never known a more Jugaari insan than you.
I take that as a compliment. Okay,
and I take that as a compliment. A lot of things about you which you've never allowed me to speak.
Yeah, I won't. I take that as a compliment. Because, Steve Jobs was a superb orator. I'm not 1/10, 1/0 of him.
Of course.
And he talks about connecting the dots. And I think that's such a beautiful concept. If we can connect dots, if you and I can connect dots, if the people within the country can connect dots, and I think expat Pakistanis are doing what? They're connecting dots. I have a friend, Safwan Shah, who took his company public, and now he's doing something else, engineer from NED. Okay, I have several friends, bankers, doing superbly at the top level. I have a friend, Raheel, who is the #1, the most senior Pakistani in Standard Chartered on the consumer side. It's brilliant. You feel proud and you feel great and you feel 10 feet tall. So Pakistanis abroad have contributed a lot and they'll continue to contribute a lot. We are proud of being Pakistanis. So, and they deliver. Whether invariably every month in Dubai we see a taxi wala returning 5,000 dirham somebody left in. Where is he from? Invariably from north of Pakistan. Invariably a Pakistani. I rather return the money and get a 50 dirham reward and a recognition certificate than take 5,000. That's phenomenal, man. That's phenomenal. We keep unearthing talent across the board, whether it's music, whether it's sports, in spite of what is happening. There's a website called, I think, Sachal Studios. Is that Majid, is it? Big financier, done well in his life. He opened up a music studio in Lahore and recorded his first album in Abbey Road. Now, Abbey Road is what? Abbey Road is where Beatles started. And that album is a percussion of jazz with Pakistani instruments, the tabla, the sitar. It is beautiful. You know? And he took it to Abbey Road, and in the worldwide jazz top 100 list, it was in number 5. Globally, that's Pakistan.
So being a Pakistani is not a handicap, unlike
At all.
Unlike what at times we tend to assume.
At all. When I go and talk to my clients trying to push or trying to get an account or build a relationship, I said, sir, I'm from Pakistani bank. We're the most boring banker in the world. And guess what? Boring is good as a banker. You try to be aggressive, 6 months down the road, your money is gone, the bank is shutting down. You have cases, I won't name names, you have cases of foreign banks shutting down shops here and going back because they don't love Pakistan, they don't understand Pakistan. They were here to make money and now they are unable to do so. We are here for good. Whether we are abroad or we are here.
That's a very interesting point you've made. If investing in our own product, investing in something we own, investing in something that's connected to us is more long-term beneficial.
Absolutely.
Than to invest in something which is here and gone.
Absolutely. There are deal makers who invest in your company, they buy it and they sell it for fun and go away. I rather deal with somebody who invests in you and your concept, builds with you and continues with you and gives something back to the society. If I look at TCF or I look at Hunar Foundation, if I look at a lot of people who are doing
domestic businesses.
Yeah.
Not just charity, domestic businesses, how they've grown. I'd rather have the Sapphires and the Alkarans and the Gul Ahmeds.
Absolutely. They're putting so much back in the country. If you look at Lucky Group, huge, massive. They bought off the ICI plant and they're investing more monies in it. So it's beautiful. No? It's helping us. It's helping Pakistan. It's building it up.
If not directly, indirectly.
Directly and indirectly, both.
Even if not indirectly. Even if not directly, indirectly. It is serving a larger cause.
Of course, of course.
We've talked about nothing, and we have about 8 more minutes to talk about maybe something. How would you? And I remember you, and I know you, as a very strange young man who managed to get jobs, and may you always be successful.
I don't want to change jobs. I'm very happy.
Which you didn't deserve. Come on, you know that. You were at
bottom line. Can I tell you something? Let me tell you something, and I keep telling this to everybody I know who I interview or get a job or get them referred into something. Somebody helps you open the door and you go inside. Staying there and delivering is not that somebody else's job, it's your job.
And no Safarish can keep it.
It doesn't that. I got into that company is defunct, so we'll take the name. We got into Instaphone through a friend's. I sold 5 times more phones than the next best person. You know, they say proof is in the pudding.
And you were cute when you did make the post.
Whatever, you know, but it did work. It did work. And fine, so you get into somewhere through, if you want to call it, lack of better word, sifarish. You cannot stay there.
Absolutely.
And I expect to be looked after. You have to deliver.
Okay, but another thing I'm referring to is the level of confidence that you have. I remember you in that bank, which will not take a name of, which is still in the world, and interesting, sitting in your office with your feet up on the table and saying they can, but that was a bit rude. But where'd you get that?
But that's friends, yeah.
I have to say that because otherwise people would say what we are inculcating and teaching people how to say.
No, it was rude.
So we have to make the legal thing that's bad, huh? But where did you get that? Come on, we got to be physically correct. But where did you get that level of confidence, considering you were young? You were reasonably green, but you were doing very well, mashallah. And you had that confidence without being arrogant or cocky, You just have the confidence.
You know, I'm youngest of 5 brothers, and I have very limited basic knowledge of Persian. But there's a poetry in Persian that, and the translation goes something like that: God rather makes me a dog than a younger brother. So I went through a lot of beatings.
Look at you.
Okay, and they taught me.
And you have glamorous brothers too.
Okay, all of them are good-looking brothers, and they beat the crap out of me in a lighter way. But it helped being a younger of 4 elder brothers, being in the same school from grade 2 to grade 6 when they all graduated. That time, I think, was the key in my life because I had so much confidence because of my brothers. Because if somebody messed with me, guess what? 4 multiplied by 4 because every one of them had 4 friends. So you're not facing with one Anwar. You suddenly have 20 kids. You picked up on my brother. And then you can put 2 and 2 together. And I promise you, that really helped me who I am today. That grounding, how my brothers stood for me. And that was it. Changed.
Well, let me amplify that. It doesn't have to be your blood brothers.
It can be anybody. It can be your friends.
No, what I'm saying is, if we stood together today in this world, if we stood for each other,
absolutely,
we would have billions of Anwar Ali Khans and much better.
Brilliant, much thousands.
And now that you're mentioning it, I'm sitting here thinking, you know, I'm missing on my brother. Alhamdulillah, my brother, who was 6 years older to me, was, and mashallah, 6 feet and
big guy.
Big. Well, he's not big anymore, but he's still, you know, the daddy of his university. And I don't think my parents even realized what was happening. He would be doing things which 22-year-olds would do, and I was 6 years younger, and nobody realized, and I was also tall. I would just be hanging out with him, and my parents had that comfort that because Nasser's going, he can go. And when I went to the US, I went there first, and he came second, and then it was friend's wedding, so we drove half the country, and suddenly his brothers one day realized, hang on, we have somebody under 18 with us. What are we doing? And nobody noticed it because I had that comfort.
Because you're the big brother.
With 24-year-olds.
Yeah.
So you're right. But if we created that same network of confidence within our ranks, our country, Pakistanis all over the world, standing tall with each other, we could do a lot better.
We do. I think
we can't divide anymore.
No, we shouldn't divide. We still have a lot of standing with each other. There's a lot of camaraderie in Dubai. Whether the guy is driving a taxi or is a CEO of a bank, when there is a need, and that incident, the flood, that was one incident, man. Oof, everybody got together and provided. Even this election is phenomenal. Doesn't matter who won. Everybody got together. That's what election is about. Everybody got together. People flew in to vote. Everybody was prized. I think in this case, media played a superb role by projecting it and getting people involved. So yes, look, at the end of the day, it's all about common sense. Even talking nothing is common sense.
Asaf, thank you very much for wasting my time. You just wasted 45 minutes of my valuable time.
And the viewers.
Anyways, closing notes.
Closing notes is always a pleasure to come back home. I love coming back home, doing what I do, meet people, have fun, coach youngsters. I met 3 beautiful young ladies today, my friend's daughters, and one of them got a Fulbright scholarship. She's going away to Boston to learn history. Beautiful. Wow. And the other one works for a multinational, and she said, what should I do on, Anwar, uncle? I said, go out, go find yourself. Explore. The world is open. And the youngsters who I don't pretend to like, but I really like her, she just learned to drive today. She was over the moon. So that's what it is. Encourage them and let them fly. That's what it is.
Out of curiosity, did you ever get a degree? And what is it?
I have a bachelor's in economics.
In what?
Economics. On time wasting.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Wish you well. Keep coming.
Inshallah.
And we need to do a lot more shows about nothing.
We will do it. We'll have cricket shows. That's more important.
We'll have nothing shows.
We'll have nothing shows.
On a parting note, quickly speaking, what I would like people to gain from this conversation is that we have to have softer, gentler conversations about life. We, as people, have lost the suave, lost the capability of talking about nothing, just general discourse about life. We've become so stuck up. become so confused that we are not discussing religion, we're not discussing philosophy, we're not discussing life, we're not discussing relationships, we're just not talking among each other. We're not talking to our parents, not talking to our siblings, friends, we're not communicating. We have pigeonholed ourselves into religion, into sect, into language, into city, into neighborhoods, the defenses and the Shadmans and the Shalmis and the Nazmas. Which side of the bridge? We need to get over that. Let's talk. Let's just talk. Until next time, and until next time when Khan is back in town, good night.